This is a rundown of how we mix our ears using Mixing Station at Walkie MC. So we'll be in the Mixing Station app. If we are not connected, if we open Mixing Station, it'll look something like this. If we hit search, our console should pop up. If it does not pop up, go to your system settings and make sure that you're on the Walkie production Wi-Fi. Since we are in the console, sometimes you have to go out and then hit search again. If the console's up, just hit connect. And it'll take a second, then it will connect. On the right-hand side, we have our master level. I usually keep this at 0, and then I adjust other levels on my pack. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have our mute enable button. If this is red, we are able to turn things on and off, but also mute and unmute ourselves. If this is red up here, that will mean you'll have no audio come through at all. And if you can't turn it off, just make sure you go down here to your mute enable button and make sure that's red, and then you'll be able to turn that off. Up at the top, we have the names of every channel. Underneath that, we have our panning. And so you can pan things left and right in your ears. If you play bass or you're a vocalist, any particular Sunday, they will not have a panning feature in them, but you will have underneath it an on button, and that's how we can turn things on and off in our ears. I usually leave everything to on, and then if I want to turn it off, I turn my fader down. In the bottom left-hand corner next to the mute enable is our fine mode button. This will make our adjustments smaller. So without fine mode, I can move the fader all the way up and all the way down. With fine mode on, I make more small adjustments. This is good if you're trying to really dial in your mix. Our channel is on the bottom. We start with drums, then we go to instruments, and we can page through here. Then we have our click cues and MD. We have our house mics. We have our comms. We have Spotify. We have Pro Presenter. On the 5th page, we get to our vocals. And next to our singing vocal mics are our other vocal mics for speaking. And I usually leave all these at a similar level because if you leave them all at the same level, they will match the front of house level. So if they turn up the yellow mic, I don't have to go in here and turn up the yellow mic. They'll turn it up, and it'll turn up in my ears as well. So I usually set these all at the same. If you want more speaking mics, maybe take them up to -5 or 0, but I usually leave them at -10. After this, we have our effects returns. If you want to mix effects into your ears, we have a vocal delay, we have a vocal verb, we have a snare verb, we have a drum verb, and we have an instrument verb. And all these we can mix into our ears simply by raising the fader. And then these work the same way as our speaking mics. When our front of house people mix in the effects, they will mix in to our ears as well. And then if we continue, we just have our master again, and that's all we need to know for our channels. When I'm mixing my ears, I usually like to start with click and cues. I usually take click and cues up. I usually leave my click around -5 to 0. My cues I'll leave just below that. My MD mic I'll turn usually around 0, and then I'll mix myself in. And now I'm going to play some audio, and after I mix myself in, I usually just start at the beginning of the instruments, and I just work up from the drums. So drums, bass, guitars, keys, tracks, and then vocals at the end. And I'll kind of talk through as I do that. So if I play some audio here, we will hear my mix coming through. You can hear the click. You can hear the cues. You'll be able to hear the MD if he decides to speak. And you can hear my guitar. When I'm mixing in drums, kick out is going to be the sub of the kick. Kick in will be the more clicky sound with more attack. Mix in my kick and snare.
3, 4.
Turn up my overheads, which are pan left and right. to get a stereo spread. Then I'll mix in my toms.
Last time.
Bring it down. 2, 3.
And I like to make sure I have that kick and the snare in there to give me a firm tempo outside of my click. And then from there, I'll jump back to a bigger section of this song. And then I'll mix in the rest of my instruments. So my bass, I'll mix it not so it's too loud, but so I can still hear it and play with it. Same thing with the acoustic. Then I'll move to piano. Synth. And my tracks. Same thing here, not so they're too loud, but just so I can hear them and still play with them. And then I check myself again and make sure I can still hear my guitar. And I'm still able to hear the click, I'm still able to hear the cues, I'm still able to hear the MD and all the other instruments as well. So I can now play with them. And then the last thing I have to mix in is my vocals. So I'll turn them up kind of the same way I mix the instruments, and I'll turn them down until I can still hear them and hear what they're doing, but not so they're the main thing in my mix if I'm not a vocalist. And if you are a vocalist, I encourage you to mix in the other vocals so you can hear them and sing with them, just like the band. So you can mix them in and play with them. So this is kind of how I mix my in-ears, and I'll kind of just take a second and fine-tune it maybe a little bit. And I make sure I can hear everything and hear myself.
Last time.
And then if I get a mix I really like, or if I don't like it but would like to start from here next time, I can save my mix by going up to the top right corner and the 3 lines. Click that. And then my name will pop up there, and all I'll do is hit save. Oh, not delete. Save. Then I'll hit save. And then next time I come in, I can open the same menu and hit the load button, and it'll load my settings right here. And that is how I mix my ears.